One of the best techniques we use to buy properties at a deep discount is to buy a foreclosed or a bank-owned REO home. Nowadays, more and more banks are using an online auction service to dispose of these properties. Today I'm going to take you along with me as I use an online auction service to place a bid on a foreclosed REO home. Hey guys, what's up? It's Paul Price here, and I was just going to show you today what I'm working on. I'm looking at a live auction for a property that's going up for sale here in our local community. And you know, more and more we're seeing this happen. The bank-owned foreclosure properties are going to using auction services to handle the disposal of these properties. You know, used to they would have a realtor or somebody in the area handle the properties. Sometimes maybe a branch of the bank would handle them. But for the most part, I'm seeing more and more these bank REOs going to these auction sites and being put up for auction. And that's what we have here. This one is one I saw a few days ago, and while we were out driving around checking on some things at our properties, my partner and I, we drove by this one and took a look at it. Unfortunately, it has a lockbox on it, but they wouldn't let us in. They're not allowing any access to the inside of the property on this particular one, and sometimes that's just how they are. But you could look through the windows, and there are a few pictures on here, and you can walk around the property and kind of get a sense of what it looks like. It's a little like buying some of the other properties, you know, at auction. If you buy anything out of at the courthouse steps or something like that, a lot of times you can't get in them. You can't see what's going on. If they don't have power, you don't know what works and what doesn't work. So there's always a little bit of unknown factor here. Now this property, it looks very good from the outside. You can see here it has three-dimensional roofing that looks fairly new. It has newer windows. This house, it says it was built in 1930, so you know all this stuff was not original to the house. So somebody's come in and spent a lot of money updating it, probably in the last 5 to 10 years. And you can see here the porch, all these steps and the wood, all that looks new. The stucco looks new. The vinyl siding windows look new. And around back, I noticed that has a heat and air system, and now it's not brand new, but it's a newer one. I don't know you know, how old it is or anything, or if it even works. Has a newer electrical panel with a 200 amp service, so it's not the old fuse box or anything like that. Now looking at these pictures, the only thing that makes me think that maybe the air conditioner might not work is there's an air conditioner right here in this window. Now that may just be supplemental because that's an upstairs kind of attic room. It may be hot up there, and they may have that up there just to help the cooling upstairs. But it's also sometimes an indicator that there may be a problem with the air conditioner. You just never know. But something I noticed while we were there. Inside, you can see that the people who lived here left it a mess. There's tons of stuff in here that has to be cleaned out and hauled off. It does have appliances. You got a refrigerator, microwave, stove, dishwasher. Now, you don't know if anything works, but they are in place, and there's a good possibility that they might work and might be able to be cleaned up and used. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, which is it's a good size house. Retail value on this house in this market at this time is probably somewhere around $100,000, all fixed up and everything working well and all that. Probably rent for somewhere in the $900 to $1,000 a month range, maybe a little more, just depending on how good the house is on the inside. From what I can tell, it looks pretty good. But the property opening bid was $45,000. The next bid $60,000. I bid $56,000 on it. This one just automatically outbid me, so I'm about to go back in and bid $60,000 on it here in a minute. But I just wanted you to see what we do and what we, this is kind of how we find deals. This is one of the ways that we do it, is we use auctions, both online and in person, and we do look at bank-owned foreclosure auctions. Now there's a couple of, there's auctions that go on when they're actually being foreclosed on. They usually take place at the courthouse steps, and this one has already been foreclosed. This is bank-owned and is being offered by this auction company. So this is not an absolute auction. This is an auction where the seller has the right to refuse or to approve the final high bid. So just because I have the high bid and I win the auction at close here does not mean I will get the property, because they have the final say-so on whether they want to take that offer or not. And sometimes that works against you, because they may decide it's not enough, and they may go back and put it up and auction it again. And that happens quite often on these sites. You'll see them auction them 2 and 3 times before they finally agree to take a bid. Sometimes it'll go higher the next auction, sometimes it won't. In fact, last fall, my business partner bid on a house. I think it ended up being somewhere around $55,000 on the first auction, and they did not take his offer. He was the high bidder. They did not take it. They put it back up for auction. He bid on it again and won it at $45,000, a full $10,000 less. And then they said they wouldn't take that offer either. And then they were going to auction it again. And then a few weeks later, they came back and decided not to auction it, and called him and said, "Hey, are you still interested in the property? Would you still give us the $45,000 that you bid on the last auction?" And he said yes, and he took the property. So you never know what's going to happen on these things. But if you don't get in the game and bid and make offers, you won't get any houses. So you have to keep trying. It can be frustrating at times. I much prefer a absolute auction where this house is going to sell today and somebody's going to leave owning this house. But that's not always the case, and you got to kind of play the game to win the bid and hopefully get the property. So back to looking around this property again. I don't know what all it needs from the inside. We don't know what the bathroom looks like. I don't see any pictures of the bathroom. So you could have some problems there. Can't really see a whole lot here. Just looking through the windows, we were able to see about what you can see in the pictures. It does have the appliances. It does have a central heat and air unit there in place. We don't know if those things work. If we have to replace them, those are going to be more money. So you have to factor those things in. If they're unknown and you don't know if something works, if you don't know if the heat and air works, then I automatically assume that we may have to replace it. Now, it could be that it works fine. Could be that it needs a minor repair and we can fix it for a few $100s. Or it may mean we need to replace it, which might cost us, on the house this size, probably about $5,000. So I'm going to take the conservative approach and figure it's going to be $5,000 if we have to replace it. The other thing is we're going to look at what's it going to cost to clean it up. It's going to cost a few $100s probably to rent a dumpster, and a few $100s to hire someone to take all the furniture and trash and stuff out of there and clean that house up. So I mean, it could cost anywhere from $500 to $1,000 to get the house cleaned up. And then on top of that, it has a broken window on the front porch there. Like I don't know if they've tried to break in or what's happened there, but it's got a broken window. That may cost a couple of $100s to get fixed. So you add all these things in, then you need to subtract those costs from what you're willing to pay for the property. Since there are no pictures of the bathrooms and we don't have any access to the house, we don't know what condition the bathrooms are in. And that's a big concern because they can be very expensive to remodel or repair if there's something wrong with them. And there's also a possibility that the listing could be wrong and it only has one bathroom instead of two. That would definitely hurt the value of the property. So my maximum bid is going to be $65,000. So if any of these issues arise, I have a little bit of money left in the budget to fix them. Okay, so the auction's now over. It got kind of crazy there in the last few minutes. I was kind of sitting there waiting to make my last bid or two. And in the last probably 15 minutes or so, it just took off, and ended up at about $79,000 was the final bid. And the bidder who made that bid had not made any bids up until like the last 5 minutes of the auction. So that's some people, that's their strategies, to sit there and wait till the end and then just bid it up right at the end. So the maximum I would have bid on this was 65. My last bid was 60. Once it passed the 65, I just didn't even bid anymore. So, and it did that very quickly. You can see here in the bid history, I was waiting till I was going to try to wait till about the last 5 minutes of the auction. But here's my bid at 60, and then right after that at 62, then it went to 66, and then all the way up to 79,000. I was not going to pay that. So you can see here my bid was made at 12:36. It closed at 1:35. So in the last probably about 15 minutes here, it went from 66 to 79 in the last 15 minutes. So it jumped up there in the last. That's when everybody jumped in and started bidding. But this guy was a new bidder. He jumped in at the last minute and took it. Now, just because he has the high bid does not mean he will get the property. The seller still has the right to refuse this offer. I looked at the public record. I do know that they paid $89,000 for this at the foreclosure auction. Now they may decide to go ahead and take that $10,000 loss and sell this house and be out of it. They may not. They may decide to run it again at auction. I'll keep my eyes out for it. I may see this pop up again, and I may bid on it again. And if I do, I'll let you know and maybe do another video on it. This particular auction did not have any fees, which is kind of rare. Right here you can see a buyer will not be charged a buyer's premium or auction service fee. So this is what the guy's going to pay. He's actually going to pay $79,000. That's not common. Usually most auction companies nowadays, they will charge a buyer's premium, either 5 to 10% usually. So what that means is if you bid $79,000 like this guy did at the end of the auction, if you had a 10% buyer's premium, you'd pay another $7,900 to the auction company. That's how the auction company makes their money. They either charge the seller up front to do the auction, or they do what's called a buyer's premium. And that means the seller is not paying anything. Usually the buyer is paying the cost of the auction. And that's what a lot of people do. They just let the buyers pay the fee, and that way they don't have to pay anything out of pocket to run the auction. So be aware of that. It's real easy to get caught up in the auction and forget about that buyer's premium, and then at the end you get an extra 5 or 10% tacked on to your bid. You want to have that all figured out before you start bidding. Another thing you want to do is make sure you read the description, the terms of sale, go through all these things. Understand what you have to bid. Sometimes you have to put a deposit down to bid. And also look at the disclosures and make sure you understand what you're buying. This property's as is and things like that. You don't want to get in and have a surprise because you didn't read everything. So make sure you look at everything. If you're doing a live auction, they'll usually give a handout, and you can also talk to the people who work for the auction company there on site. They'll tell you what the rules are and what the disclosures and all that are, and what you need to know before you bid. So just make sure you do an informed bidding, because you can get in over your head if you're not careful. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please press the like button. And if you'd like to see more, subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to hit the bell for notifications so you know when we release new videos. And if you'd like more information on real estate investing, go to retirerichwithrealestate.com. Until next time, I'm Paul Price, teaching you how to retire rich with real estate.